What is fascinating to me is the Lord wants to manifest what he's doing in the earth through people. And he's not embarrassed by you. In fact, he loves being known as your God. He loves the idea of manifesting himself in your gifts, through your gifts, your history, your family, the good, the bad, the ugly, in the midst of whatever you carried into the relationship. He loves being recognized by others as your God in the midst of that. I love the four Gospels for that reason, because they are not only records of the life of Jesus, not only history, but they carry with it the personalities of the four authors, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Matthew writes to the Jews. His first miracle is of a leper being healed, because touching a leper was the most forbidden thing for the Jew. And so as Matthew writes to the Jews, he reveals Jesus as the Lion of the tribe of Judah, and he unveils him as this majestic one, but he doesn't overuse the name God, because out of reverence and value for the Jews that he's writing to. And yet he brings the most offensive thing to them, that Jesus actually touched a leper, where in the Old Testament you touch a leper, you're unclean. Jesus touches a leper and the leper's clean. Matthew writes this story beautifully. It's incredible, as he writes to the Jews. And his own bent, his own personality is all through that gospel. And the Lord loves being seen in Matthew's personality. Mark is a different gospel altogether. Mark is kind of referred to as the businessman's gospel. He writes to the Romans. He doesn't bother with fluffy stuff like, genealogies, that sort of thing. He's got the word immediately is in there like 90 times. He's always going bang, bang, bang from one story to the next. He's out to get stuff done, and that's the way he writes this thing. And it's to the Romans. That's how he wrote it. It's a profound book. I love the Gospel of Mark. But Mark's personality is seen all through this rich, rich gospel. Then you get to Luke. Luke was a doctor. He's a physician. He writes about women more than any of the other gospel writers, maybe more than all the other three put together. He writes about women all the time. Why? He's a medical doctor. His own bent in life, his own perspective on humanity. And he reveals Jesus as the Son of Man, where Matthew revealed him as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Mark revealed him as the servant of all. Luke reveals him as the Son of Man. And so he deals with his humanity so much more than the others. And it's interesting that Luke, in writing to the Greeks, the first miracle is the casting out of demons, which seems to be the most appropriate for those who had multiple gods. And Luke's personality, his own bent, his own persuasion in life was all through the gospel, because God loves to be seen in humanity. He loves to be represented well by the giftings, the calls, the unique personalities. He's not ashamed to be called your God. And then we get to John. John, his genealogy has nothing to do with Adam. It has to do with God. In the beginning, God. And that's how John approaches him, because John is revealing Jesus as the divine one. We've got Matthew, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. We've got Mark revealing him as the servant, the ox. Luke, the Son of Man. And John, the eagle. The four faces that are on the beast in Ezekiel and in Revelation carried with them the personality of each of the gospel writers. John's first miracle, forget the healing stuff, he's at a wedding turning water into wine. He reveals the Son of God as the one who likes parties. I mean, you can dumb it down all you want. That's what happened. As Chris was reminded us so many times, he turned water into wine for a group that was already drunk too much. He was one who loved celebration. And so we have this in the Gospel of John. We have this intimate approach. I'm not wanting to do a study on the Gospels. I'm just wanting to say, you know what? You got your story too. And Jesus is wanting to bring something out of the impossible through you. And he doesn't mind it having your redemptive personality attached. He likes it.